Hi, boys and girls. I hope everyone's having a wonderful fall break. I am Mrs. Perkins, and I just wanted to go over some context clues with you guys because you do have assignments over context clues over the next 2 weeks over your fall break. So I hope this video will be helpful and guide you in the right direction so you do wonderful on those assignments. So I have this poster behind me, and I'm just going to go over the context clues that we've been using in class. So this should not be new for you, boys and girls. So I've written a sentence, and I've also written down the context clues that help me find what the unknown word in the sentence means. So remember, when we're talking about context clues, it means when we're reading, we come to a word that we do not know, we use clues to help us figure out what that word means. So I have some practice and some examples behind me, and I'm just going to go through those, and I hope this video is helpful for you guys. All right, so the first context clue I wrote down was definition. So that means when I'm reading a sentence, it will give me the meaning of the word if I just keep reading and I look into that. So I wrote down, Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He is friendly. So I didn't know what affable means, so I underlined it. But if I continue reading in that sentence, it tells me he is friendly. So I know the unknown word must be he is friendly. So it means he's friendly. I was able to figure that one out just by definition. So make sure you're paying attention to what context clue you're using when you do figure out that unknown word when you're doing your assignments over fall break. The next context clue I wrote down was synonym. So hopefully you remember what a synonym is. If you do not, I'll just refresh your memory. A synonym is when a word means the same thing as another word. So I'm going to show you what I mean by reading this sentence to you. Mr. Fry is quite affable. In fact, he reminds me of Miss Baker. Do you remember how kind she was? So again, there's that word, affable. I did not know what that word meant when I first read the sentence, but if I continue reading, it says, he reminds me of Miss Baker. And then they talk about Miss Baker. It says, do you remember how kind she was? So they're comparing Miss Baker and Mr. Fry. So if I know Miss Baker is kind and Mr. Fry is like Miss Baker, then I can figure out the word affable means that Mr. Fry is probably a kind principal. Okay, so there I made the connection based off the context clue synonym. All right, the next one I wrote down was antonym. So if you do not remember what an antonym is, I'll refresh your memory. An antonym is when a word means the opposite of another word. So I wrote down a sentence and we'll practice the context clue antonym. I miss Mr. Fry. Our new principal is cranky and unfriendly. Mr. Fry was so affable. So there, I'm using the opposite. So it's saying, I miss Mr. Fry because our new principal is cranky and unfriendly. So if I miss Mr. Fry because our new principal is cranky and unfriendly, then I can figure Mr. Fry is probably the opposite of this new principal. So affable must mean he's friendly and not cranky. So not cranky, he could be positive, he could be nice, he could be happy. So any word that would be opposite of those. Does that make sense? Okay, so our next one, context clue, was example. So I wrote down a sentence with that context clue, and I'll show you what I mean. Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He puts a smile on your face and knows everyone. So there, they give me an example of how Mr. Fry is as a person. If he's affable, he puts a smile on everyone's face and he knows everybody. Well, if he was a mean principal, he would not make you smile and he probably wouldn't know you. So Mr. Fry must be a nice, kind, friendly principal. So I was able to figure out what affable means there just based off the example they gave me on how Mr. Fry is as a person. And then the last context clue we've been talking about in class is inference. So if you do not remember what an inference is, that is making a guess based on what you know about whatever the sentence is talking about. So you do not need to worry. Mr. Fry is an affable principal. So usually when you see a principal or you get a new principal, or in this case, Mr. Fry, you may get a little nervous, you may get a little worried or scared because it's the principal. But this person is saying you don't need to worry because Mr. Fry is affable. So I'm just making a guess or an inference because I know if I don't need to worry, then it's probably because he's a pretty nice principal. All right, boys and girls, I hope this helped you with context clues. Please work on your assignments and try your best. If you need to rewatch this video, it will be here every day. I hope you guys have a good fall break. Bye.